one of the initial gardeners. And one of the things, I'm an educator. Oh, sorry, my name is Phyllis Mobley, and I am a IB French teacher now at Mount Pleasant High School, but I was at Harlan Elementary for 6 years, PS Elementary, and also in Chester. And so when we started gardening, I thought it was a great idea to bring kids to garden. And the one thing that you talked about, how are we going to, ensure that people get the knowledge, so to speak. Well, we have science teachers that are very engaged, that engage with the students in teaching them the curriculum of, cultivation. It links into their biology studies. But also, it's amazing with kids that when you give them that information, when I took the kids, they took it home. You saw the transformation in what the parents were feeding because the kids were coming and saying, I ate eggplant. They had never eaten it. One of my students said, can I eat this raw? And I had never eaten a raw eggplant. And I said, okay. And so they ate it and they said, oh, it's so good. And I said, oh, it's good. Let me try it. And he was right. It was good. So one of the things that I think comes out of this is that kids are educated. The community is educated. I wrote something and I wanted to put a face to, I'm a poet and a writer too, but I wanted to put a face to kids and community gardens. Can you hear the giggles? Smiling, sunlit laughter, light, airy, and fulfilling. Can you feel the joy, blossoming deep brown soil, rooted in expectations? Our children planting seedlings of burgeoning hope, cracking the hardened, cemented self-concepts of not enough, if onlys, and of course the I can'ts. Captive beliefs, now rooted in curiosity, in confidence, in community. Fixed mindsets now growing strong in nature knowledge, and growing strong and growing stronger. Strong roots taking root in soil, deeply carving, deeply nurturing soil, carving mind maps of stronger bodies, of healthier minds, of emotional resilience, grounded in community. Seedlings rooted, pushing past otherness, pushing past exclusion, pushing through what seemed impenetrable, and is now an opening, a cultivation of pride, pushing up, welling up, nurturing soil and soul, making visible their blossoming fruit, their fruits no longer invisible. And what I said, this is a metaphorical account of the impact that community gardens can have had, and continue to have on kids, especially those who are the most vulnerable and often the least visible when it comes to their social, emotional, academic, and nutritional needs, often living in food deserts. Our plan includes spaces to activate minds through storytelling, story creation, food cultivation, acquiring knowledge of green sustainable strategies and tools, having schools at all levels, both public and private, take part in planting, harvesting, and maintaining gardens. Creating school spirit weeks where kids who might never or infrequently interact together get opportunities to collaborate and create, where there are cross-generational activities that build a more caring and compassionate perspective on aging and how resilient our bodies and minds become the closer that we are to nature and engaging in the movement of gardening that gardening provides. We would love our kids to discover the garden that exists in all of us and the opportunities to encourage ongoing cultivation. So, thank you.
Hi, my name is Mikey Reppy. I'm a resident of the 5th District, and I live about 3 blocks from the Rodman Reservoir site. We've been there about 25 years. About half the time, up until it was closed, we were members of the community garden. And I really showed us how much the community garden lets you find your neighbors. I met people all around the neighborhood that I've been walking my dog in for 10, 15 years before we were gardeners that I never talked to because there wasn't a reason to. But when you're up elbow deep in dirt, it's always fun to chat. So obviously you're very pro gardens, that's great. Just ask the city council to support community garden in every district in the city, get people into public spaces, get them outdoors, get them playing in dirt, and grow vegetables so that we can have more vegetables.
Thank you. Evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Michael Sherman. I live in the Hilltop community in the city of Wilmington. I am also an avid gardener. I started gardening at the Rodney Street Garden. I garden in another garden in the neighborhood, as well as gardening at home. And basically, the point that I wanted to bring up was to emphasize that the community garden, when in reference to Rodney Street, as well as just gardening in general, is really just the tip of the iceberg of what this can turn out to be in the long run. Because when we look at gardening in general, we're going back to our ancestors. When we look at gardening, we're going back to there's an ancestral book that says there will be herb-bearing seed, and will be to them meat for food. The importance of gardening is beyond just picking fruits and vegetables. That's just the cause and effect. But the importance of gardening is that gardening is about life. It's about the human ecosystem. It's about how we are able to, our health, mental health, financial health, health in every manner that we can think of when it comes to gardening. This is what we were designed for. As far as we look at nature, the symbiotic relationship between humanity and the garden, it's you can't even really put into words. People who have with mental health issues, how gardening has been healing for them, how it's been a blessing to them. We talk about our children, talk about leaving a legacy for children. And one of the greatest things is showing them, teaching them how to put their hands in the soil, how to plant, how to sow from the food, from the seeds that have been planted. I mean, I believe if the city gets behind this, I guarantee you within a 5-year period, you will see drastic change in ways that you can never imagine as you would begin to see how this garden could really help the city as a whole. That people far and wide will be able to say, hey, you heard about the city of Wilmington? Hey, it's called the city of Eden. Why? Because they got community gardens all over the place. And how the people as a whole have been delivered and been blessed because of the garden. Everyone should have a garden. Everyone should be a gardener.
Amen. I don't know how I'm going to follow that, but my name's April Collins. I live right across from the new Rodney Reservoir Park. I've been in the community for about 8 years. I'm a gardener. I'm a member of Green for the Greater Good. I'm a community health nurse. I've been a community health nurse for 13 years. So I just wanted to talk about the benefits that I've had from the garden, as well as the benefits to the individual, the household, and the community as a whole. So I applied for my community plot in 2019, in the fall of 2019, after looking all summer through the rails at people gardening up there and how happy they were, not knowing that 6 months later the world was going to shut down from the pandemic. So I got my plot in March of 2020, and I cannot tell you how much of a benefit that was to my mental health. Being a nurse during COVID, my stress level, my anxiety level was off the charts. So being able to go up to the garden and feel the sunshine and hear the birds and feel your hands in the soil, it was huge. It was huge. But I wanted to highlight, and Jamila talked about a lot of this, about the benefits of community gardening on public health. But for the individual, studies have shown that community gardening has a significant impact on physical health, on your diet, on your exercise, as well as your mental health. It lowers your stress, your anxiety, it lowers your blood pressure. So that's the benefit you see at the individual level, and then you can see trickles of how that expands. So to the household, there's the benefit of having access to fresh, healthy food. I live in a food desert, so having the benefit of being able to just walk across the street and get vegetables out of my own garden was huge. And then as that circle expands again to the community, the public health benefit to that social interaction, getting to know your neighbors, like Mikey said, building community. I mean, out of that community garden, Green for the Greater Good was started, and we advocated for a public park, and look where that's got us today. So that's the benefit to the community, and then the city as a whole, we have to talk about the benefits of environmental health to the city, about reducing that heat island, reducing stormwater drain off. There's the aspect of providing a space for natural wildlife, a habitat, and just the beautification of the city and the community. So I just wanted to highlight those benefits. I don't think anyone here disagrees about the benefits of community gardening, but as a nurse from a public health issue, I just wanted to highlight those benefits, and I look forward to continuing to work with the city to make this community garden happen. So thank you.
We have someone online. Oh, okay, let me go online real quick. Kaylee K, you're virtual?
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Yeah, my name is Kylie Kimmel, and I am in the 5th District. I live on 9th Street between Rodney and Clayton, so I face the reservoir. I purchased my house with my husband in 2018, and part of the reason that we chose where we decided to buy was because of the green space that we were going to have the benefit of looking at and enjoying as we establish roots in this community. And I think that I am also a registered nurse, and April just did a really beautiful job of expressing a lot of the things that I had my hand raised for. I just want to echo talking about the importance of lowering the heat in cities where we're typically degrees hotter than our neighboring counterparts, how important that is for people and children with asthma, and the benefits to mental health in our communities. And just, apologies if you can hear that emergency on the phone, talking about the resilience that is built by green spaces.
Hold on one second. We'll give you your time back.
That's it. Okay. Thank you very much.
Our alert system works, everyone.
Yeah, it's been active today. Just talking about the resilience and the importance that is in our communities and how we need these green spaces in order to build that. You know, looking at the video, I see so many faces that I only know as my neighbors and members of my community because of the space across the street from me. And I just want to applaud Jamila and all of the members of Green for the Greater Good, and the members of the City Council that have supported us, and the other partners in the neighborhood. And I'm so excited to hear the councilman present the idea of this being a seed and having gardens pop up in other places in the city. And I would love to live in the city of Eden. So thank you so much for my time.
Hi, my name is Tara Hubbard, and this is Faye Hubbard. We live about 2 blocks from the community gardens. We had a plot there for about 1 year, and it was very special to us just because we got to learn how to garden together. That was my first time ever gardening, and Faye got to see how long it takes something to grow, and I feel like she appreciated food a lot more because she waited and waited and waited for it to grow. We are very excited and hope that we can have a plot at the community garden again. But Faye, did you want to say anything? No? But yes, she is firsthand. She is the child that you mentioned in your speech about community gardens, community gardening. We thank you.
Carrot Forager. Yes, Forager, sorry. Yes.
Thank you so much for everyone giving public comment. We are going to move on to our next presentation. We have one more. L. Field. If you're still on, unmute yourself.
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Laura Filon. I actually live in your district, Mr. Owens, Councilman Owens. I lived in Cool Spring for about 25 years. I'm one of the original founding members of the pre-existing Rodney Reservoir Garden and also Green for the Greater Good. I missed part of the presentation because I was at work until 5, but I think probably most of the things I want to say have already been said. First of all, Phyllis, your poem was amazing, and I think it sums up pretty much everything that I wanted to say. I'm a climate activist and a promoter of grassroots, think globally, act locally. I think that gardening, community gardening in particular, for all the reasons previously mentioned by everybody else, is a really solid foundation for building community resilience. And I mean, through collaborative action, showing up for ourselves, teaching each other multi-generationally, cherishing and recommitting to our place in the natural world. We're going to need it to adapt to the realities of climate change. And that's the practical, pragmatic part of community gardening. Also, I've been a vegetarian for almost 50 years, and I really appreciate being able to affordably provide myself and friends with organically grown quality food. I love seeing the light in the eyes of children that learn that vegetables are really a great thing for the first time in their lives. I'm all in for, education around nature appreciation, growing food, being sustainable and resilient together, and learning, self-sufficiency skills as individuals as well. I think that the heat island issue is a massive pressing problem in our city, and more parks and more gardens are absolutely essential for our physical health. The mental health benefits have already been espoused by many on this in this meeting, so I won't go into that. But I fully endorse and hope you will support the promulgation of more community gardens in more parks and green spaces throughout the city. I think that this one can be a way shower and a pollinator for future gardens all over the city. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next person is Sarah Lester.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thanks. Sorry, I also arrived late. I'll just be super brief. My name's Sarah Lester. I run Cornerstone West CDC, and I'm a resident on 7th Street. And Cornerstone is the backbone and fiscal agent for West Side Grows Together. I think many people in the room and our amazing council people know about us, but I just wanted to say that I just felt like I would be remiss to not say something, and just to acknowledge that West Side Grows Together started up on, and maybe it was mentioned, but started up on at Rodney Reservoir, born out of that community garden of neighbors coming together, and Councilwoman Willauer was part of that, as well as many, or led that, as well as many folks in the room. So I don't want to make it seem small, that amazing effort, and it planted the seeds for so many programs and projects, including the work that we're doing today as part of West Side Grows Together. And I've been at the organization for 9 years, and it's been so powerful to see how these spaces, these green spaces, these community gathering spaces, these places where food can be grown and cultivated, like how powerful it has been for the folks who live around these spaces, and the love and stewardship that I have been able to witness. I'm honored to have been part of, and I'm very excited about the new space, and very supportive of the work that Green for the Greater Good has done to champion and talk about stewardship of this space, as well as, I appreciate the city of Wilmington's involvement as far as having that be a park and community garden in the future. So just really excited about this conversation. I'm glad it's happening. I'm sorry I missed some of it. I'll go back and read it. I'm Jamila. I'm sure you did such an amazing job, because I've heard you speak on this topic passionately many times. And just, I'm a big supporter, and Westside Growth is a big supporter. And it's inherent. It's like throughout our updated Westside Revitalization Plan, neighbors have said over and over again how important it is to have these community gathering spaces. And so I just wanted to touch on that and emphasize the importance of gardens for that point of bringing our communities together. So again, I'm probably repeating what many of you have said, and thank you all for being there. And thank you again for having this space to talk about such an important topic.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Wheeler.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much, Councilman Owens. I just had one final question. I want to thank all the comments. It was great to hear what the gardens means for everybody, and also just to think big about what it can become. So I love the inspiration too. And my question is, what are some of the ways that council can support this work at the Rodney Reservoir Community Garden and also all across the city, as everybody's made really clear, like this is something that we need, to be supporting in every neighborhood. So how can city council support community gardening in Wilmington?
Wonderful. Thank you for that question. So one of the things, with the community garden at the Rodney in particular, we'd love your support, like getting over the finish line. We're so excited. You saw that space, like ready for us to occupy. That has been, it's got the pavement for the universal access and the pavement so we can put those keyhole beds for wheelchair access to gardening. And so, we would love to have your help, advocating with the city of Wilmington to involve us in, opening that garden. The the architects are ready to do a garden build day the way that we did the planting days. We want to step through that door. We want to be part of leadership. We want to continue to have this passion here comes from, that resident-led model. And, we'd love your help advocating for that. And we want that chance to collaborate and catalyze these relationships we've been cultivating around this vision to actualize these educational opportunities and activation, and to broadcast that to other sites as well. So and so that we might be a hub that can resource other communities as well.
Thank you very much, Jamila. And, again, thanks to everybody for coming out.
All right. Thank you so much. We will move on to our next presentation, but before I get to them,